The 1989 World Series will always be identified with the Loma Prieta earthquake. These unforgettable images gave this fall classic unwanted statistics. A 7.1 magnitude, 63 people perished, and a 10-day break in the middle of the games where both teams were unsure if baseball was important enough to continue playing. Once the decision was made, the World Series resumed. For the 1989 San Francisco Giants, they were National League champions for the first time in 27 years. They were looking for their first world championship as the San Francisco Giants. This unique blend of players and coaches were brought together every day that season by a man who was the driving force of a term which captivated a team, a city, and an entire region. And this expression follows him to this day, Hum Baby. Now, Dwayne Kuiper.
The images are still vivid in the minds of Giants fans from 20 seasons ago. Welcome everybody to Inside the Clubhouse, the 1989 Giants. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Probably like you, this is a personal story. As Giants fans, we all remember the summer and fall of 1989. Like now, I was a Giants broadcaster then, and I can tell you firsthand that this was a special team with unbelievable camaraderie, and it all started with the Hum Baby himself, Roger Craig.
We had a lot of family things together. We off days we'd all get together, maybe have a big picnic or something. And the club, what I liked about my ball club on the road, these guys would all go out together, and the pitching staff, you might see the whole pitching staff in a restaurant sometime.
Our chemistry started in the clubhouse before we got on the ballpark. We was like a family, man. We did everything together, man, you know, and we all clicked.
Like Will Clark, the Thrill, Robbie Thompson, Uribe was solid. You start seeing the different makeup of the team. You had a leader for the pitching staff, Mike Krukow, crazy Krukow.
Pooch Fahey, wait a second, we got to talk to Pooch Fahey. Pooch, we paid $5,000 to see him lose all that hair. Another thing you have to deal with here is the media. As you see, Bob Brenly's giving an interview right over here, and we're interrupting it, which is one of the cardinal sins. The media guys hate that.
You know, every once in a while, a group of guys get together that absolutely commit to one another, 100% commit to the guy. And there was no talk of hunting trips or golf trips or anything in that clubhouse that whole year other than baseball.
That's one of the police horses. I used to ride them out in the parking lot out there.
Roger Craig is 79 years old, but to spend any time with him, he easily takes you back to the late 80s, much to the delight of Giants fans. Hum Baby is still going strong.
There's Bob Lurie, and there's Will Clark. He's putting on a show, even the clubhouse. When your general manager can kiss you, you did something right.
The Giants lost 100 games in 1985. General manager Al Rosen hired Roger Craig to replace Jimmy Davenport with 2 weeks left in the season. Immediately, the clubhouse changed. By the spring of 1986, the Giants had a new identity along with some new players.
I don't know when I first got there whether they thought they could win, or not. But once we got to the All-Star break and we were in first place, they got a taste of it. They said we can beat anybody, and they felt like this through '88 and then '89, And we had some guys have some phenomenal years, and they were just a club that they didn't care who they played. They thought they could beat them.
With Roger being here and Al Rosen coming in as general manager, we were getting an infusion of people who were used to better things. But Roger was always the most upbeat guy there was, and it rubbed off. He always felt, you could win, and this is the way we're going to do it. They just changed the entire mindset of what had been some pretty mediocre Giant teams in the past.
I remember one time and Will Clark was really hitting the ball good in a situation where it was a perfect hit and run. I had the right count and all. I knew they wouldn't pitch out, and I gave him the hit and run with Robbie Thompson on first base, and he didn't swing the bat. And Robbie got thrown out. I said, when he come in, I said, Will, what happened? You missed a sign? He said, no, I didn't miss a sign. He said, I'm hit swing the bat real good, and I didn't think. I said, wait a minute. you know, we got a guy thrown, Robbie Thompson got thrown out just because you didn't protect him by not swinging the bat. And I said, don't let it happen again. And he said, okay, and it never did happen again.
He was probably the perfect guy to guide the young guys. I mean, it was quite a few times, you know, he took me under his arm and said, hey, son, this is not how we do it. This is how we do it.
I got about 40 more scrapbooks. You want to go through them?
Roger had that, he was calm in that, you know, he could get the guys to play for him. I don't know if he yelled and screamed in the locker room, but he never did anything outwardly to embarrass the players on the field. I think that he was the right guy for that group of players.
You know, I think that's Matt Williams. He's always could imitate me. I think he's trying to imitate me with my big ears and my smile, whatever.
And Roger threw me out there as much as he could. It was great. You know, having the Giants take me #1, I knew that I had to prepare to go play. And at that point, I thought, well, you know, if things work out, I've got a chance. It's a long way, you know, from rookie ball to the big leagues, but I knew that I had a chance if I worked hard and improved enough. And ultimately, it was a lot of trials and tribulation, but it worked.
And Robert Thompson, one of those guys that didn't get much recognition, but I'll tell you how much I admired Robert Thompson. In 9th inning, we got a 1-run lead and 2 outs. I always say on the bench, hit the ball to Robbie, because I know the game's over.
And finally getting a break in '86 and, you know, getting a chance to play in spring training, and, you know, all of a sudden it's where this kid come from, and, you know, making a club out of AA and hearing all the stuff in the back as far as this guy's going to be back in, you know, AAA in a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, he's never going to make it. And, you know, it kind of helped burn the fire, you know, fuel the fire a little bit for me. Brett Butler was a great leadoff hitter and great. He could really bunt well. He's the kind of guy when you manage against him, you always said keep him on bases because, you know, he can steal bases. He's was a good defensive outfielder. And he was, in his own way, he was a good leader too.
Roger brought hum baby. I still to this day, I'm not really sure what hum baby was. But the one thing, he helped us all relax. You know, him being the pitcher that he was, he really depended on the players to go out there, the everyday players, and say, you guys, you know what? You go ahead and you monitor each other. You keep each other accountable. You go out there and make sure that everybody's doing their job the right way. And what we did, consequently, is each guy would pick up the other guy. If somebody was down, they would lift him up. If somebody needed to be kicked in the butt, that was done too. And the bottom line was for us to win. It wasn't about individual. It was about a collective team working together to the end result, and that was to win the World Series, and we almost got there.
Coming up, opportunities are what Kevin Mitchell took advantage of in 1989 as Inside the Clubhouse, the 1989 Giants continues. Welcome back to Inside the Clubhouse, the 1989 Giants. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. The 1989 Giants were brought together by the strong personalities of the players. And one in particular, well, he just happened to be the MVP of the National League that season. And I can tell you, I still haven't seen a play like this one.
And that's sliced to left field, and it's another chance for Mitchell, and he makes a barehanded catch.
In my entire life, I've never seen that happen.
We couldn't have won it without him. And I tell you, he had what a fantastic, what he drove in like 140-some runs and hit 47 home runs.
High and deep, he's going to get not only one, he's going to get two with the first home run of the season.
He was unconscious good. He was fun good.
I came to play the game, you know, and I used to always get fan mail to tell me to smile a lot. If I smile, then you guys, I go out there and mess up because I think playing for the city of San Francisco makes you play.
Fans in San Francisco were a big part of his success. They totally got Kevin Mitchell. And the relationship that he had with the fans here, that is the reason why he won that '89 MVP award. He just felt that big yoke of potential just completely fell right off his shoulders, and he was playing to his friends. They weren't fans, they were his friends.
If it wasn't for the fans, I probably wouldn't be Kevin Mitchell, you know, the fans in San Francisco, you know, and I thank them a lot. I got to give, well, they can reach back there and give a pat on their back and thank themselves, you know, for giving me the chance to play for San Francisco.
Boy, he was not only strong, but he was a good hitter. That guy could hit. I mean, he could get base hits, and he could hit the ball as hard as anybody.
He was a great motivator for me, man. He was always positive. You down, he was always positive what he had to say about what, you know, in the game, you know. I know you can do this, son. You hit this home run, I'm gonna get you a white horse. So that's how Roger was.
He had 2 home runs his first games in Chicago, and I said, if you had another home run, I'm gonna give you a white horse. He said, would you have done it? I sure would. I owned a riding stable at the time.
Mitchell didn't hit the 3rd home run needed to get the white horse, but that didn't stop him from hitting a home run against every National League team in 1989.
Everything went well for me that year. I mean, I worked hard in the winter. Late in the season, I was getting stronger instead of getting weaker. I started getting stronger and stronger late in the season, you know, and I don't know what happened. I could have won another season. My MVP season started in spring training. You know, I came to spring training banging, hitting the ball hard. And that was my main goal, just to hit the ball hard where it was pitched and be aggressive.
Next, the unforgettable season and World Series of 1989. Just 1 year after the removal of a cancerous tumor from his shoulder, pitcher Dave Dravecky would make his courageous return to the mound, a defining moment for the 1989 Giants.
Craig Lefferts and Dravecky, what a wonderful human being he is.
And today's starting pitcher for San Francisco, number 43, Dave Dravecky.
On August 10th, being a part of that day was just very special. While I was standing on the mound, it's too difficult to express in words what I actually felt inside. It was just something that was so overwhelming, and I was so thankful for that opportunity.
Dravecky and the Giants beat the Reds on this day. Unfortunately, 6 days later, he would collapse mid-pitch, his arm breaking in the same area where the tumor had been removed. Dravecky's career was over.
Hank, he's holding his shoulder.
However, his amazing perseverance in the face of adversity inspired the 1989 Giants and helped drive them to the pennant. Welcome back to the show. The Giants were eliminated in the playoffs by the Cardinals in 1987 and vowed never, ever to let that happen again. The second half of '87 featured a team which would look a lot like the '89 Giants. Again, behind the hum baby, '87's disappointment provided motivation for '89.
We were out of gas. We were absolutely out of gas. In September, we kind of limped into LA and we had to win 1 game. San Diego was on fire and they were charging. And they were playing Cincinnati down in San Diego. And we go into LA and we had to win 1 game to win this whole thing. And we couldn't do it.
Well, we are live right now in Roger Craig's office. Roger is calmly listening to the Padre game right now, the play-by-play over the radio.
Just couldn't muster any runs, and so now, regardless of what happens tonight, even if San Diego wins, we're going to bring it home for you.
Mark Letton had a pair of headphones that he could hear the broadcast of Jerry Coleman out of San Diego. And here's the pitch, swung on and missed, and we never heard him say strike 3. We went absolutely ballistic.
Live, the Giants have just won the Western Division.
Ain't nothing better than this. We'll see you in Chicago. We're the best. We're going to prove it. Woo!
Riding the high from clinching the Western Division, the Giants were ready to go to work in Chicago.
Again, and Maddox throws, and Clark swings. High drive, right field, going, gone. Grand slam home run for Will Clark.
Entering Game 5, the Giants were up 3-1 over the Cubs, just 1 win away from the pennant. Bottom of the 8th, tie ball game, 2 outs with the bases loaded. Will Clark steps up to the plate.
Ever a guy was made for a moment like that, and ever a guy could approach the plate by thinking to himself, as probably only Will might have and probably did, let me at him. Where a lot of guys might have hoped somebody else's turn to bat would come up instead of theirs, facing a guy who threw like Mitch Williams did.
We got the right man up there. If anybody can do it, he can do it. Will was so good at stuff like that. He didn't realize the guy was throwing 100 miles an hour, had the best curveball in the league. Unbelievable. I'll never forget that matchup.
We knew watching Clark take that Nussler face up to the box and knowing that Williams was throwing really hard, that it was going to be a country battle. It was going to be a country hardball against a country hack.
Walked over to Dusty Baker. He was our hitting instructor, and I said, I'm looking fastball away right here. He said, I'd look fastball away too. And he said, look, this guy's got better control than what people think. I said, okay. I said, I got you. So I walked back towards home plate, and I walked right by Kevin Mitchell, and he says, you got a job to do. And I turned around, I said, it's done.
With the lead from third, Butler off second, Thompson from first in the pitch, and Clark hits it up the middle in a center field base hit. Maldonado scores. Here comes Butler on his way to third as Thompson. The Giants lead 3-1, and Superman has done it again.
You know, to be out there at Candlestick and to live it, you know, in front of 60,000 people and however many were on TV. I mean, that's what the sport's about, man. That's what it's about.
I thought it was the defining moment of Will Clark's career.
And the fans there are just great. You know, there's Will. He just showing his muscles out there.
Second, Walton at first. Bedrosian throws to Sandberg, and the pitch is grounded to second base. Thompson has it, throws to first. It's over. 27 years of waiting have come to an end. The Giants have won the pennant.
You know, as an infielder, as a position player, you're always thinking, you know, you always want the ball hit to you. You want the ball hit to you. You know, all of a sudden I'm out there, I'm like, hit me the ball. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, bleep, it's hit to me. You better make the play.
I remember him taking a step back to play it on a big hop, and that he threw to first, and I think my words at that moment was, it's over. You know, and then I guess I said 27 years of waiting have come to an end. The Giants had won the pennant, which was all I could think about, was how long it had been.
They don't hardly drink that champagne. They throw it all over you, and the worst part about it, it burns your eyes. I mean, you can't hardly see. But you don't get many celebrations like this.
Next, on to the series. Welcome back to Inside the Clubhouse, the 1989 Giants. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. As you know, the great accomplishment of making it to the World Series was dampened less by the sweep at the hands of the A's, but more so by the Loma Prieta earthquake. A devastating event that happened just before Game 3 brought this team even closer together.
We were just about to proceed with, you know, the first game ceremonies here in San Francisco. And
I was in my office, I was changing shirts, and
I had just got through running a sprint, and I was in center field. I was getting ready to walk back towards the line.
And I was getting ready to do an interview with Willie Mays. And they had said, I mean, they started to count in my ear. Willie and I were standing out by the mound, and they go to Joe in 5, 4, 3, 2.
So the Oakland A's take. I'll tell you what, we're having an earth.
I don't know if we're on the air or not, and I'm not sure I care at this particular moment, but we are. Well, folks, that's the greatest open in the history of television.
As soon as I looked up, I could see the light towers going wham, wham. I was like, oh, this is not good.
Well, I ran into the clubhouse, and I said, get in the parking lot. Let's go get in the parking lot. So I ran out to the parking lot, and that's when it really hit me, because that asphalt was just rolling under your feet.
And Willie and I looked at each other, and Willie in his high-pitched voice, he said, let's get out of here. And so I said, come on. So we ran to the mound.
Well, I looked into the outfield, kind of down the left field line and down the right field line, and saw the dust falling from the upper deck. And then I got scared. Not for me, but I got scared for my family.
The devastation was felt across the Bay Area. The Giants chose to stay in San Francisco during the 10-day layoff until the series resumed. And the A's, well, they traveled to Arizona to work out.
It was tough to really get everybody motivated after all that happened, and people losing their lives and stuff like that. But I don't use that as an excuse. You know, Oakland had a great ball club, and they deserved to win. But we still thought we had a chance when we came back to Candlestick Park.
we stayed, and it was the best thing that I had ever done as a professional athlete, because we really felt that we were needed, you know, and I'm not dogging the A's on this thing, and they did what they had to do, and that's not the reason they won the World Series either. Again, this is not a slam on arm, but I'm just saying, for us to stay here, I think there was a relevance for us to be here. I think there was a need, and I know one thing, if we did any good for anybody, it wasn't anywhere near the good that they did for me and for our team. Being able to go into the city and see what we saw, that was unbelievable. It was such a positive thing to see how people rallied around one another. You know, that was an amazing time.
The 1989 Giants will forever be linked to this earthquake, but this team was strong and endured a trying event unifying a region at a time of need. Humbaby retired following the 1992 season, but it was the season of 1989 that would stick with Roger Craig to this day.
I was just very proud to be able to manage that ball club and to work with all those young players, and it was probably one of the greatest thrills of my life in 1989. You know, to be able to manage in the World Series, it's something that, you know, I didn't even dream about something like that, but it just, you know, it happened, and it was a wonderful year. This is one of my favorite rings. They did a really good job. Bob Lear and Al Rosen figured this out, how to make it in it. But this ring means a lot to me because it's got Craig managing all of it. There's only one of those in the world. And I wear this more than I do any of the other ones. I'm very proud of this ring.
We hope you've enjoyed our look back at a historical season. This has been Inside the Clubhouse, the 1989 Giants. And for everyone here at SFG Productions, I'm Dwayne Kuiper.